Station gang, and welcome back to Fresh Ink with your boy Stu from Dr. Doom's Fan Club here. This is the show where I talk about my favorite new comic books and why they're worth picking up. And what else could we be talking about this week other than the Absolute Batman Annual #1? We got stories in here from Daniel Warren Johnson and James Harren. This one's instant classic in my book. Really one of the best annuals to ever be published. A comic I was floored by and felt compelled to immediately make a video for and promote this effort, man. We got Daniel Warren Johnson, artists and writers, Daniel Warren Johnson and James Harren, both writing and drawing two incredible tales here. Brutal, beautiful, stunning interpretations of this version of the Dark Knight that's really taken the comic book world by storm over the course of this past year. So let's get into this book and what I love about it so much. Absolute Batman has had quite the run since issue 1 dropped just over a year ago now on October 9th, 2024. Since its debut, its bulky, brutal, bombastic Batman has become the engine behind one of the most significant industry shifts of the modern era when it comes to revitalizing superhero books. That first issue posted print runs well into the hundreds of thousands and easily became DC's best-selling single issue of 2024. And through 2025, this book has remained a sustained bestseller. This annual comes right on the heels of Absolute Catwoman's fantastic introduction in issue 13, and while we anxiously await that Batman vs. Bane showdown and the conclusion of the Abomination arc that's coming in issue 14, this annual feels like a big bowl of ice cream before dinner. I'm going to really focus on the first story in this issue, Daniel Warren Johnson's. His story doesn't shy away from that moral question of what happens when Bruce Wayne's idealism meets hate and extremism in the streets. This one features all the hallmarks of a D-Dub's book that we have come to expect and to love and to cherish so much. His gorgeous kinetic artwork, his ability to write with heavy-hitting emotional sincerity are both present here in a big way. Johnson tethers the story around a flashback at both the beginning and the end of the tale, which revolves around a conversation between Bruce and his father Thomas, who are reading headlines about an extremist bombing and really having a conversation about what a difference one person can really make in this world. From there, D-Dubs thrusts this young Bruce Wayne, Absolute Batman, into a visceral clash with a mob of white supremacists who are brutalizing vulnerable immigrants in the decaying tent city of Slaughter Swamp, an abandoned housing development on the outskirts of Gotham. With a father-son lesson from Thomas about teaching one life at a time, Bruce pivots to violent retribution, and D-Dub sets a tone early here with this killer full-page splash which features Batman surrounded by fallen bigots holding a flamethrower while the blaze engulfs their flag and sigil behind him. I love how Johnson draws his line in the sand here. This Bruce Wayne is unabashedly and unapologetically a champion for the poor, tired, and huddled masses here, because when he punches out one of these hate mongers, you can feel that extra oomph that DWJ is really putting behind it. And though the story is bookended by that beautiful conversation between father and son, the surprising heart of the story here really comes from our interactions between Bruce and this local priest, who early on in the story saves Bruce from harm when he gets jumped by 3 members of this gang. After helping him recover, Bruce decides he's going to put himself back in the gang, but what we don't realize at the time, and we find out later, is that this priest and Bruce's father Thomas knew one another once upon a time. When he awakens at the house, Bruce finds a picture of Thomas and this priest, which we also see in the flashback, together peacefully protesting with guns being pointed in their faces. As he leaves and is suiting back up, Bruce tells his father, quote, "Sometimes peace isn't an option, sometimes words don't work." I really adore these 2 lines, not just because of how relatable they are to not only the character of Batman and Absolute Batman, but how relatable they are to all of us as individuals. The struggle between violence and nonviolence is one we all deal with, and it seems to be a rising epidemic, particularly here in America. Bruce's statement here reminds us that the fight isn't just physical here, it's ethical. And as this gang of white nationalists rally together and descend on the tempest-tossed folks of Slaughter Swamp, Batman shows up and he starts turning those Heil Hitlers into compound fractures. Bones that were parallel are now perpendicular, okay? In this moment where he drops this corrupt cop with a vicious Neck snapping powerbomb is one of my favorites of the issue. The way D-Dubs continues to incorporate his wrestling into his storytelling is just awesome and epic and everything you want it to be. Not only in these interiors, but on these covers he's been doing lately. It's such a natural compliment, one art form to the other, and seeing the Dark Knight drop this move, nothing short of epic. Beautiful. No notes. So as he's viciously pummeling this leader of this group, the priest steps in again, and he covers this beaten and bloody bigot with his body the same way that he did with Bruce to save him earlier in the issue. But Batman tells him, in another great full-page splash from Daniel here,
"This is my way."
From there, we see our boy get the keys to the absolute Batmobile for the first time. He turns up the ultraviolence to 11, and he absolute freaking wrecks shop here against the rest of the gang and their HQ, driving through the wall, armed with a flamethrower. We see Bats on a mission of extermination rather than a mission of vengeance, right? In a brutal and unapologetic rampage, he truly unleashes hell against these dudes. And it is a sight to behold with Daniel Warren Johnson rendering it. As Bruce drives away with his new toy, he's reflecting back on this conversation with his father again. He's thinking about idolizing his father for making a difference in the world and how he wanted to find his own way to do the very same. This shot here with the building that he's just torched to the ground, burning off in the background, followed by the "I'm going to be just like you" panel with his father, is absolutely crushing and just beautiful comic booking. And so as he's remembering his father's words in that moment, that you have a strong and compassionate heart, Bruce looks down at the blood on his hands. Such a beautiful, haunting, great visual cue by Johnson to show us what Bruce is thinking and reckoning with. Quote, "All you have to do is be yourself. No matter what you do, I'll always be proud of you." Remembering these words from his father Thomas, Bruce gets overwhelmed. And as they ring out and resonate through the halls of memory into his present, we get this incredible last page of the towering, hulking Batmobile and Bruce seated in front of it, weeping into his crossed arms, huddled with his head hung low. He looks so small and fragile and vulnerable here in front of this Batmobile's massive, enormous scale. It's such a poignant final page. And it just points to one of Johnson's strengths with his ability to land a story with an impactful and moving ending. I love what this one has to say about fathers and sons, but more importantly, what it has to say about violence and nonviolence, especially with the climate in America currently. It's a poignant tale of a man wrestling with the weight of his father's pacifism as he tries to keep his strength and power in check before it turns into something rotten and evil. And it also gives us interesting context in regards to this version of the Dark Knight and his relationship with that infamous no-kill rule. But I can't get out of here without mentioning James Harren and his incredible story Sanctuary, which features another incredible father and son little vignette inside of a larger, savage, absolute Batman story where he takes out a bunch of the Black Mask's party animals who are holed up inside this old abandoned church that they've kind of commandeered. Really enjoyed this one because it felt like a love letter from James Harren to Mike Mignola. I'm used to the more psychedelic and radical line work of Harren that we've typically gotten in books like Ultra Mega, but here he really leaned in to those Mignola-esque jagged lines and gothic shadows, and I was totally here for it. I loved it. And again, both the colors on these issues, on these two separate tales, Mike Spicer working with D-Dubs and Dave Stewart working with James Harren, do incredible work here. Spicer's bright yet sickly greens at the beginning, moving into his warm oranges with the priest, his reds when the violence turns up, and then those darker reds into purples when Bats really flies off the handle. Stewart's greens and blues do a ton of the heavy lifting, but I also found his palette such a delightful surprise, the way it changed up during that showdown with the party animals. So props to both of these legendary colorists, and sending Mike Spicer all the love and light in his fight with cancer. That's it for me this time, gang. Let me know in the comments, how did this book land for you? Did you dig it? Did you not? Let me know. I know this one is going to provoke a lot of conversation, and I'm curious as to your opinions on it. So please leave me a comment and let me know your thoughts on either of these stories. As always, make sure you are subscribed to the Dr. Doom's Fan Club channel with those notifications on so you don't miss out on any more great comic book content.
Till we meet again on Doomsday.
Hey, what's going on?
Those bums won their court case, so they're marching today.
What bums?
The fucking Nazi party.
Illinois Nazis. I hate Illinois Nazis.